Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Just taking a look here at Solana, see what's going on. Double checking a few important factors here. Just kind of referring to this bearish rectangle breakdown. It does look like we are ready to dump. Not saying it's going to per se, but if Bitcoin pulls back, it'll probably pull back pretty hard. There's not a lot of buying pressure at this time. Price action rejected pretty soundly off that 192 level. In fact, I had a trade alert set for 192, and unfortunately, like the price action waked up to like 191.90 or something. So I never truly got a chance to enter into our short, but I do know that we would have hit our take profit target had we sent that signal. So I feel pretty good about that. But either way you look at it, constellations nonetheless, right? Profit is profit, even if it isn't. Okay, so let's take a look here at Solana back in data, kind of double check a few things. And I do want to say congrats again to our community members here for just nice profits on our Bitcoin short here recently. While we are in a long position right now with Cardano, I don't necessarily recommend taking a lot of longs at this moment. Okay, Bitcoin is kind of just going stuck on sideways, stuck on stupid. And I would say for the most part, with the exception of select coins, it doesn't make a ton of sense to take longs. I'm definitely referring to Solana right now. Do you buy the bottom that's been retested like 20 times before it breaks down further? No, you generally don't. That's not best practice. Let's see if there's any incentive perhaps to change that, right? Because you don't just look at the charts on one time frame and be like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna do this or do that. But me, typically, after looking at charts for over 20 years, I can tell you that there's nothing super inviting about this position. So we'll talk about DCA targets and important things there as well. But either way you look at it, 188 to 190, that same area liquidation hasn't changed much. 184 to 182 also to the downside. So we're kind of in the middle of those heavy concentrations. So it doesn't make a ton of sense to long or short at this point until either of those are broken. Okay. So that's kind of how rectangles work too. Just keep in mind they're more notoriously likely to continue in the direction they're heading, right? It came from the top, so it's going to continue lower. But on the same accord, if it were to invalidate, a closure above 192, like on the daily time frame, or even at the least 4 hour, is what we'd be wanting to find. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Right now, though, liquidation delta, people are still heavy on shorts. Doesn't make a ton of sense to take it long. We can kind of see here as well that liquidation, or more importantly, open interest. There's not a lot of interest right now. Some people got longs at 185, but they're barely under, they're basically just longing support, which is sensible. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad idea to do that in like a spot bag perspective. But for right now, jumping into a long with like any type of leverage doesn't make a ton of sense. Obviously, you can watch it close and maybe have some benefit there, but it's not right. And I'll explain why here. Right, we're below every single moving average minus the 200 is hanging out there at 172. By the way, complete disclosure, I have like a limit order at that 173 mark, just in case the price were to wick down there. Okay. Furthermore, too, we can see, and again, keep in mind that that's a limit order on my spot bag. It's not a limit order on a leverage play. We are under 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is pulling back with it. Stochastic swinging down. MACD diverging. There's about 9 out of 10 reasons on the daily time frame not to take a trade. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't take a trade because the macro is bearish, right? Because you could see bullish smaller time frames, and that can contradict that, so to speak. Or if you think about this, a bullish hourly time frame will inevitably become a bullish 4-hour time frame, and so on, right? So if the smaller time frames can kind of communicate that, then the larger time frames will effectively respond that way too. All that being said, we can see a descending trend line. We're still under the 20-day SMA. There's 0 reasons on the 4-hour time frame or below all moving averages to even consider a trade. We're still close to 30 on the RSI in that range there. Money flow index is still low. Not a lot of buying pressure. There's no reason to take a trade right now. I can't even think of a good analogy to come up with right now to explain why it's not a good idea to take a long. And again, tomorrow we'll probably be in the 190s. But the key takeaway here is that if you don't take a long right now and the price goes up, you'll know at the end of the day that you did the right thing. Okay, because it's just irresponsible to take a long position right now. However, there's going to be multiple occurrences where in your life you're going to think that best practice is wrong because of the simple fact that you were right on a lucky trade. So just try to remember, think logically through this, and understand that while it could still happen, the odds are lower that Solana breaks out, right? Bitcoin is not really performing all that super well right now. If it pulls back even a little bit, this coin is responding very poorly to it. So until it changes, until that dynamic changes, which requires us to close above 192, in my personal opinion, it makes no sense to take a long right now. Okay. So yes, I'm more than willing to wait for a higher price point to take along with confirmation versus taking a higher risk trade at a lower price point with less certainty, right? Again, you'll eventually learn that if you haven't already. I'm sure you probably have if you keep watching, because you're probably, it's easy to be addicted to, like, quality. And what I mean by that is just that, what I provide, I feel is good quality because it's consistent for me. But if you don't have good risk tolerance, none of this really matters, right? So you got to recognize, you got to look within, it's not what you do, it's why you do what you do that defines you, right? So if what you're doing right now is to just, take a high risk trade so you can post it on social media and, get a few followers because of it, that's pretty pathetic. No offense, but that's just kind of my thoughts, but I just generally tend to dislike those kind of qualities. Anyways, we're below the moving averages here on the 4-hour, all of them. We're also below the cloud. Conversion lines way below the baseline, lagging spans in the price action. There is 0 out of 3 reasons here on an hourly perspective to take a trade in either direction. The truth is, if you're going to consider a short, you wait for the price to break down here and then bearishly backtest this horizontal trend and continue lower. That's when you try to get in. You don't just short into a heavy support either. Okay, so just so you know, no trade is the best trade until a defined direction is established. We either close below 185 and confirm further downside, or we close above 192 and potentially consider a long at that point if it's worth taking a trade. Between now and then, hang out, relax, spend some time with your family. Do something different instead of paying attention to the charts all day long. I'm excited to get to my family here shortly once I'm done with some of my important stuff I got to take care of here. Just because, again, I care about my traders and I want to make sure you're always making the best calls. And right now, there's really no good call in the market for this coin. I'm speaking for Bitcoin as well. There's a small handful of other coins too. Maybe check out my Cardano and or XRP analysis today so you kind of see what my thoughts are there. Those are pretty much the only other coins that are doing well. And it's best to either focus on the good ones and not just be so hell-bent on trading one coin ever that you limit your possibilities, right? It's good to have like a good 5 or 10 coins that you like to trade consistently and stick with those. Don't just jump in and out of whatever trade you want. There's certain patterns, certain qualities that coins exude that either work well or don't for your risk tolerance. So I generally try to avoid meme coins because most of the time when I trade them, I have to close them out early. But again, really just depends on who you are and what kind of price action you're looking for. Okay, I've spoken enough. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much again for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. If you want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is a site. Please, 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 if you're going to join, make sure you read through our trade alerts channel. This kind of gives you insight on coins I'm taking trades with. My signals guide, so you know how my trades are structured. You should always use your own risk tolerance. And then last but not least too, folks, check out this prevent scams and report scams section. These scammers are pathetic. They always change their name to me. They always try to instant message you. I will never do that. I actually care about humans. I'm not a worthless piece of crap. Anyways, thanks again for your time. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great rest day. Take care.